Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Monday, October 20th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Recap. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And without further ado, let's get into the news. Ridge Holland, as you all know, has been let go. Well, not let go, but his contract will not be renewed by the WWE, and he's also injured. And get this. He will not be paid. They released him on injury. He will not be paid, and this has obviously sparked some harsh criticism on the company's new direction, as they will do whatever they can to save a buck. And he can't wrestle. He can't do anything right now. That is absolutely disgusting. If you saw Raw last week, the Vision has split up. We will find out the reasons tonight on Raw. And the reason we knew the split was coming. We just weren't expecting it to happen this soon. We will dive into some of the reasons why a little bit later on the injury segment portion of the news and on the Raw recap. So we'll dive into that just a little bit more. The X Division Championship match at Bound for Glory ended the way it did, much to the chagrin of many people, because WWE did not want Javon Evans being pinned. This is what happens when you go into business with someone bigger than you, that has more power than you, and that has influence over you. Leon Slater should have pinned Javon Evans. It is very much that simple. Instead, we had a weak faction in Dark State interfere. Chris Jericho has announced the next Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, and the big thing that people are noticing, that there are no AEW stars on the cruise. The top names are Jeff Hardy, Saraya, and the Great Muta. We got Nick Nemeth, Bully Ray, Dave LaGreca, Elena Back, who you know as Cora Jade, Ted DiBiase, Carlito, Shotzi, Vampiro, Natalia Markova, AJ Francis. There are many top names on this cruise. No AEW talent. We had an update on Andrade. So he's off TV because WWE kind of just screwed him in enforcing their non-compete clause. They told him, hey, there's no non-compete clause. You can go perform, do whatever you like. He then goes and shows up in AEW, start a feud with Kenny Omega. Like, no, you can't go there. And these new WWE contracts has a 1-year non-compete clause. Now, mind you, non-compete clauses are pretty much illegal. You cannot bar someone from doing work in their desired profession, nor go to the competition. This is not good at all, and I think Andrade will probably challenge this, and he will win this case. This is just not a good look for the WWE, and his return is just halted. Now, what's so funny is he still could actually go to CMLL, wrestle for them, and who is CMLL partner with? AEW. Just put on the mask, be La Sombra. There were a lot of releases, cuts, non-resignings, and one of the bigger names to come out of that, we now learn, is Stevie Turner, who addressed her son in WWE exit, and another ID talent, Bryce Donovan, also no longer with the WWE. Stevie Turner is another one of those big names who they kind of just wasted. And look, we know why the WWE ID exists. It's to stop talent from signing with AEW. AEW also wanted to have their own training facility, and it just wasn't very cost effective at the moment. It's going to be set in North Carolina, where Edge and Christian and FTR and Beth Phoenix live. Those are some great teachers to have, but for now, it's not happening. What I think they can do is use a lot of the wrestling schools that their wrestlers have. I know Yuta here in Philly has a school. I know Colt Cabana has a school. You can always train with many others. But AEW is a young company. They will grow, and it will happen in due time. We got a feud wildly between Sarah Stock and Amanda Huber. Sarah Stock, the former WWE coach who also wrestled in TNA as Sarita, came out against the I Quit match between Mox and Darby, especially talking about the fish tank portion of the match where Amanda Huber came out. I was like, this is a match that started at midnight. And you know, my wrestling loving kids were doing when this match was going on, they were asleep, because it's on the parents to mitigate what your children can and cannot watch. And Amanda's right. This is just outrage to be outraged, and I expected better from Sarah. We all expected better from Sarah Stock, who has been in big, dangerous spots, choking out someone with the belt. But I digress. And it's not like they didn't tell you that this escalating feud of violence between Darby and Mox, wouldn't be violent. And mind you, St. Louis, for some reason, the Missouri has a wrestling commission, and they can dictate what happens on wrestling shows. Because if you watched WrestleDream, you noticed that there was no wrestling fighting in the crowd, and there was no blood. And yet, Mox and Darby, were being professionals that they are, were able to still have a very, very brutal match. The Acclaimed, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to those in a minute, are reforming, because this was not in the plans, of how popular Max Caster got with his babyface push. Yeah, he is super over, and this will lead to the inevitable return of the Acclaimed. We can all see it coming. Nyla Rose cooked Raj Giri, the founder of Wrestling Inc., and he pretty much said that the pre-show bleeding into the main show WrestleDream was, and I quote, low rent, like the people don't know how to time a show. Even if it was intentional, it looms minor league. And Nyla came out and cooked and was like, well, narrator actually doesn't. Posts like this, however, do scream, hey, I'm going out of my way to discredit promotion for trying something to make the heavily scripted world of professional wrestling seem wild and unpredictable. And she is right. Raj Giri is another known AEW hater. On the injury side of things, we don't know how long Seth Rollins will be out, but he will be out, which is why the division split up. He got injured when he hit that coast-to-coast shoulder charge. I don't know, but he will be out. We don't know how long. We have to wait to hear from him. Queen Aminata suffered a knee injury at the Collision tapings, but it looks like she's doing better, because she did show up and support Jamie Hayter at WrestleDream. On Dynamite, Roosh dislocated his elbow and popped it back in. That man is nuts. Jacob Fatu will be out for an undetermined period of time. It won't be long, as he went to have dental surgery. That's why if you saw when he was jumped backstage, there were teeth everywhere on the ground. Tony Khan provided us an update on Swerve, saying he will be back sooner rather than later. He's dealing with that injury, that leg injury. He might even be back by the end of the year. Rhea Ripley was injured at the WWE Super Show this past weekend in Tokyo. We don't know the extent of her injury, so we'll see what goes on there. It looks like it might be a leg injury. She also suffered a broken nose. Zoe Stark has given us a huge update on her recovery. Remember, she tore her ACL, MCL, and meniscus, and she states that there's another procedure probably coming in the next few weeks, but she's feeling better. She's doing well. She's now in motion to make her return. ECW founder Todd Gordon was hospitalized this past week. He is unable to receive visitors, but this is from his family. We appreciate his love. He's in the hospital and has been for some time. We don't know the extent of his illness, but we hope he gets better. And lastly, Bobby Fish revealed he is injured and he has no health insurance, which sucks. Like he's dealing with a hamstring injury. Hopefully he can get everything situated. But that is the news, and we should be right back with the weekend review. All right, you know how we do. We start off with Monday Night Raw for the weekend review. This was the Crown Jewel Fallout show. This show gets official. We open up with Seth and the Vision in the ring, and he declares that they're on top. You know what I mean? He praises Heyman, Braun, and Bronson, calling Heyman the undisputed GOAT. the thing is, Braun didn't look so happy. He bragged about building the group, said he doesn't need any of them. He's the greatest of all time, that he's the greatest to ever do it. That won't come back to bite him in the ass later. Penta was confronted by Rusev. He said he already beat him and he's promised the winner. Dom was seen avoiding both of the men. Then we had the Intercontinental Championship match with Dom defending against Penta, and the fans were very much behind Dirty Dom. We had some early offense by Penta with a dive to the outside. Dom gained momentum, but he ultimately won the match by doing a little lying, cheating, and stealing using a hammer behind the ref's back to injure Penta. He hit the 619 and a frog splash. Backstage, Jackie Robinson interviewed LA Knight about the triple threat main event. Punk interrupted him. A little tiffy with each other. Asuka scolded Kyrie for losing, and Kyrie apologized, and Asuka slapped Kyrie. Ooh, Asuka is on another level. Then we had Rhea versus Kyrie Sane. This was a good quality match. Ultimately, Rhea won with the rip tied. After the match, Asuka and Kyrie attacked Rhea with a kendo stick and then DDT'd her on the announced desk. Backstage, Jimmy told Jay he'll handle his match versus Bronson Reed alone, and there was an argument about Reigns' leadership and loyalty. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, Roman has still not apologized for anything he's done. He is still the same Roman Reigns. Jimmy versus Bronson Reed was a solid match. Jimmy attacked Bronson before the bell, but ultimately was all for naught. This match went about 8 minutes, with Bronson Reed hitting the tsunami. After the match, Braun Breaker joined Bronson Reed hitting a double spear on Jimmy. Jay made the save, but there was still some tension between the brothers. Backstage, Lyra and Bayley were discussing teaming up, and Lyra questioned Bayley's trust, which led us directly to Bayley and Lyra versus Roxanne and Raquel. Ultimately, Bayley and Lyra won, with the Bayley hitting the top rope elbow followed by the Rose Plant. We're just spinning in circles with Bayley, Lyra, Roxanne, and Raquel. Backstage, Seth, Paul, and everybody, they were celebrating. Seth hyped the Vision's dominance in the future, but Bronson, he was good, but Breaker had some subtle discontent on his face. Backstage, Adam Pearce was with AJ Styles and Dom, and Dom complained about facing Rusev again, and AJ proposed to tag him. So I'd imagine, Judgment Day versus himself and Dragon Lee. Pierce made it official. On stage, Stephanie Guerrero was celebrating her women's championship win and her winning being the crown jewel champion. She was interrupted by Raquel and Roxanne Perez, who both challenged her. And Perez said she'll face Roxanne on her. Time of the main event was Jay, LA Knight, and CM Punk in a number one contenders match. This was a fine, fast-paced match, but ultimately CM Punk won. After the match, Seth and the Vision confronted Punk, took out Jay, took out Knight, took out Punk, and Reed dropped Punk with a tsunami, and then Braun speared Seth, and then he got in Bronson's face like, I need you to pick, and then Bronson hit the tsunami on Seth. And then they both looked at Heyman, who hesitated, and then raised both of their arms. And Seth Rollins is no longer a part of the Vision. Over on Dynamite and Collision, this was the go-home show for WrestleDream, and we had a double show. Since WrestleDream was going on Saturday, there was no Collision. This show also gets a fist. We opened up with a recap of Kota Ibushi and Josh Alexander from Collision on the previous week with Ibushi's injury. And Kenny Omega and Jack Perry making the save. Backstage, Perry and Omega discussed their shared enemies and agreed to team together tonight. I'll see how things work out. So our first official kind of segment was Tony and Chris having a sit-down interview with Renee Paquette. So look, Storm said she was ready to reclaim the title. Stat asks, who are you? And Stat's like, she's evolved. She will outlive the Doubter. She will outlive Storm, and will give Storm the rest she deserves. Both stood face to face. Renee was very much frustrated because she really didn't get to do an interview, and they decided to go in the ring and fight, and that's what Storm and Stat did. They both wanted to hit each other with the belt, but it did not happen. Kiss on the forehead. Let's go. Jack Perry said he still loves the Young Bucks, but they abandoned him. We needed him, and he reunited with someone he knows the most, and that's Luchasaurus, to stand on his on our first contest of the evening. That was a lot that happened in the beginning of the show. Was the Gates of Agony taking on the Hurt Syndicate. This was a fine match, getting us set up for the Trios Tornado tag match at WrestleDream. Ultimately, Ricochet interfered, hitting a spirit gun on Shelton Benjamin and allowing Bishop Khan to pin Shelton, giving the Gates of Agony the win. This was the first pinfall loss suffered by the Hurt Syndicate since joining the WWE. I was say WWE, AEW. I got Raw on the screen. Good win by the Gates of Agony. Darby Allin and John Moxley had a beautiful face-off in a prison. Both were behind the glass, where you go and like call and talk to whomever. This was good. Mox urged Darby to be on the right side of history while Darby refused, citing Mox's betrayal of Bryan Danielson. Mox said Darby fights ghosts and he fights for the craft. Pac attacked Darby while Mox looked on, spreading Darby's blood all over the glass. It's really good. Claudio ended up defeating Roderick Strong in a solid match. Commentary noted their Ring of Honor history, so this was a good back and forth affair. What was notable about this match was that the Death Riders did not interfere. Then we had a birthday segment with the Don Callis family celebrating his birthday. Takeshita was on a screen, sent video saying that he will become the new IWGP champion, which he did, and Okada accidentally, quote unquote, cut the TV off. Our next match was Kenny Omega and the Jurassic Express taking on Josh Alexander, Hechicero, and Mark Davis of the Don Callis family. This was a really fun match, but ultimately Kenny and the Jurassic Express got the W. This was a good tag match. Post-match, the Bucks attacked Perry and Luchasaurus. The Bucks didn't attack. The rest of the family attacked. The Bucks did not help until Kenny Omega came out to make the save. Then we had Jamie Hayter defeating Sky Blue on a nice little match. Hayter won with the Haterade. Thekla cut a promo after the match on screen, declaring she is out to commit chaos and poison everybody. Mercedes Moné had an interview, and she celebrated becoming the longest reigning TBS champion, and she's on a 10-match winning streak, and she sets up an open challenge after defending the CMLL Women's Championship. She has the open challenge set for WrestleDream. The Ops defended the Trio Championship against the LFI team of Rouge Drilistico and the Beast Muertos. Ultimately, the Ops retained. After the match, Rouge spit at Hangman and Hangman charged, and there was tension between Paige and Joe. Wheeler Yuta and Danny Garcia defeated Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly. Mox watched from the crowd. Pac and Claudio interfered, leading to Danny Garcia pinning Kyle O'Reilly. The Death Riders beat down everybody until Darby Allin stumbled out because, he had his ass beat and he got destroyed again, showing that, he won't quit. He also got hit with a paradigm shift on top of the AEW flag. And we had an in-ring promo with Mega Bane, FTR, and Stokely Hathaway, the top gods, and Penelope Ford. Bane mocked Willow, vowing to destroy Harley. FTR bragged about their accolades, and then Just beat Willow and Harley interrupted on the screen, which was just a distraction, and a short brawl broke up, but ultimately Mega Bane ended up defeating Harley Cameron in a really fun match. Harley gets better and better and better. Harley kicked out of Megan's finisher, showed some heart, but ultimately she fell to the Liger Bomb. Backstage, Hook and Eddie Kingston cut a promo setting an open challenge for WrestleDream. The Acclaim were backstage, and he showed off. Bowen showed off his magazine covers. Cass argued that he is still the best in the world. And, he's the best wrestler alive. And you can't be better than the best. And both men rejected that, even though they have teamed up again, they are not the Acclaimed. In our main event match, Mark Briscoe and Brodido defeated Kyle Fletcher, Lance Archer, and Rocky Romero. So that means the Don Callis family took 2 L's on the show. This was a really good fun match. After the match, Clone caused a distraction, allowing Okada to hit Brodido with the tag team championship. Over on SmackDown, this show gets fit. This was also the Crown Jewel Fallout show. Dick Aldis opened the show, announcing Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu and now be number 1 contenders match to take on Cody Rhodes, I believe, at Saturday night's main event. Cody then cut a promo making his entrance, saying the same old about, the same old stuff that Cody says. He's facing either Drew or Jacob, and he noted, that we're in the Bay Area for Jacob Fatu. Backstage, Konosuke and his crew attacked Rey Fenix during his photo shoot until the referees broke it up. We had the Women's Tag Team Championship match with Charlotte and Alexa defending against Soruka and Zarya. This was a good match, but ultimately Zarya and Soruka lost due to a distraction from Blake Monroe, who was in the crowd. Charlotte applied the figure 8 for the win. Backstage, we had a conversation between Cody and Jacob. It was a little friendly exchange, but Fatu ended up saying his usual thing, all gas, no brakes, yada. I mean, we got a video promo of Aleister Black and Zelina Vega following up their attack on Damian Priest from last week. Black said he feels complete with Zelina besides some, and she called him a mirror to the disease. This is our next thing was setting up the U.S. Open Challenge. Miz was backstage pitching ideas to Nick Aldis, and Sami interrupted the banning another Open Challenge and said that he would give Nakamura a rematch, his planned opponent for Japan, but Sami insisted that he will be defending the championship later tonight. So we go to that match, and it was supposed to be the Miz who came out, but Carmelo Hayes attacked Miz, so who answered the challenge? None other than Ilja Dragunov, making his long-awaited return in a fantastic match. Ilja Dragunov defeated Sami Zayn to win the United States Championship. After the match, Sami and Ilja showed respect to each other before the MFT's attack. Rey Fenix tried making the save, but nope. Too much, the numbers game, and Solo declares family rule claim all the championships. Then Bo Dallas appeared on the screen resembling Bray Wyatt. He just looks like his brother a lot. And then the YS6 appeared in the ring, surrounded MFTs who walked away. Mind you, Nikki Cross is one of the Wyatts, and she steps right up, no fear in her heart. We had Stephanie Victoria, Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany admitted defeat. She's frustrated. Kiana James mocked Tiffany, and we'll get that match next week. The Motor City Machine Guns versus Humberto and Angel Garza ended with the Motor City Machine Guns getting the win. DIY interrupted Axiom and Nathan Frazier mocking the tag division at all, as Choker's Jacob Fatu was attacked backstage. He was supposed to come out for his match, but he was beaten, bloody, teeth on the ground, blood everywhere, and no one knew who it was. Cody came out, and he assumed it was Drew. Actually, no, Drew came out. Cody assumed it was him. They decided to have a championship match. They fought, and it ended in a DQ after Cody hit Drew with the championship, and there was still a fight after the match, but Cody ended up standing tall. Our matches of the week from Dynamite, Jurassic Express, and Kenny Omega versus the Don Callis family members of Josh Alexander, Hechicero, and Mark Davis. And in one you didn't expect from Evolve, of all places, Kendal Gray versus Callie Armstrong for the Evolve Women's Championship. From Smackdown, that fantastic United States Championship match, Ilja Dragunov versus Sami Zayn. From WrestleDream, Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks in a 500K tag match. Also from WrestleDream, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Briscoe for the AEW TNT Championship. My match of the week, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, from WrestleDream, Brodido versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the I Quit match, Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, also from WrestleDream. My stars of the week, we got three very, very obvious ones. Darby Allin for getting that big win over Jon Moxley. Ilja Dragunov for becoming the new United States champion, and of course the CEO Ota Mone, Mercedes Mone, for not only breaking Ultimo Dragon's record, but surpassing it even further, becoming a concurrent 12 champion. She now holds 12 championships. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.